If there's one compact SUV that quietly earned its place in American driveways, it's the Hyundai Tucson, a crossover built on promises of comfort, safety, and affordability. But behind that friendly image are certain model years hiding costly flaws, surprise breakdowns, and engineering shortcuts that surface only after the warranty expires. So, which Tucson years deliver dependable value, and which ones slowly drain your savings when you least expect it? Stick around because by the end, the difference will be crystal clear. Years to avoid. Number 4. 2011 Hyundai Tucson. The 2011 Tucson marks the beginning of a troubling stretch for Hyundai's compact SUV, a year that looked perfectly reasonable on the dealership lot, but quickly revealed cracks beneath the surface once real-world miles began piling on. This model year generated more than 120 complaints filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, many centered around a recall involving a defective transmission fluid cooler hose that could leak fluid without warning, leaving owners to discover mysterious puddles under their vehicles or sudden transmission behavior changes that required immediate attention. And while Hyundai did issue a recall to address the problem, the fact that it reached production in the first place highlighted quality control weaknesses during this period. Adding to the concern was a separate recall related to a loose airbag assembly inside the steering wheel, a problem that directly impacted occupant safety and forced owners back to dealerships for corrective repairs. But perhaps the most troubling aspect of the 2011 Tucson was its crash performance. Although the vehicle earned top safety pick recognition from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, it simultaneously received a poor rating in the small overlap front crash test, a result that exposed structural weaknesses in how the vehicle protected drivers during certain real-world collisions, and any vehicle that carries a poor safety score in a critical crash category becomes difficult to recommend, especially when safer alternatives exist. Combine those safety concerns with early mechanical recalls and inconsistent build quality, and the 2011 Tucson becomes a year that demands extreme caution on the used market, even when pricing looks tempting. Number 3. 2012 Hyundai Tucson. If 2011 raised eyebrows, 2012 pushed things into far more serious territory. Second-generation Tucsons from this year became entangled in multiple recalls involving potential fire hazards, a category of defect that instantly elevates any vehicle from mildly problematic to genuinely risky, and one that no amount of attractive pricing can truly justify. According to recall documentation from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, certain 2011 to 2013 Tucson models suffered from engine oil pan leaks that could lead to oil loss and eventual engine damage, prompting Hyundai to replace affected oil pans and install updated oil pressure switches. But that was only part of the story. Hyundai expanded safety actions to address a separate issue involving the anti-lock braking system module, where internal fluid leaks could trigger electrical shorts, creating the possibility of engine compartment fires whether the vehicle was parked or actively driving, forcing Hyundai to advise owners to park outside and away from structures until repairs were completed. That kind of warning is never issued lightly. Number 2. 2016 Hyundai Tucson. Then came 2016, the model year that earned Hyundai an unwanted spotlight across owner forums, complaint databases, and reliability trackers. This Tucson generated an astonishing 1,700 plus complaints filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, representing one of the largest spikes in reported problems across any Tucson generation. And the majority of those complaints centered on drivetrain and transmission failures that often appeared shockingly early in ownership. Drivers reported vehicles shaking violently at highway speeds, refusing to reverse, hesitating dangerously when accelerating into traffic, and lurching forward unpredictably after long pauses. Symptoms that pointed directly to widespread issues with the dual-clutch transmission introduced during this generation. Over 380 formal complaints targeted the transmission alone, many describing failures occurring as early as 10,000 to 30,000 miles, which is virtually unheard of in a segment where 100,000 miles is typically considered baseline durability. These problems weren't isolated incidents. They were systemic. The situation became severe enough that car complaints labeled the 2016 Tucson a beware of the clunker model year, citing not only the sheer volume of reports, but also the consistency of failure patterns across owners nationwide. And while Hyundai issued recalls and software updates in an attempt to mitigate the damage, many drivers still face costly repairs, prolonged dealership visits, and resale values that dropped faster than expected. Number 1. 2017 Hyundai Tucson. If 2016 opened the door to trouble, 2017 kicked it wide open. The first full year of the third-generation Tucson turned out to be the most problematic of all. combining unresolved transmission flaws with persistent acceleration, hesitation, power delivery interruptions, and continued involvement in Hyundai's expanding ABS fire recall campaign. Although 2016 technically recorded more total complaints, Car Complaints rates 2017 as the worst year overall due to higher repair costs, more severe failures occurring at lower mileage, and a broader range of critical systems affected, making it the most financially dangerous Tucson year for used buyers. Owners described scenarios where vehicles would hesitate for several seconds before responding to throttle input, an especially terrifying experience when attempting to merge into fast-moving traffic, while others reported sudden power loss at highway speeds or unpredictable shifting behavior that made the SUV feel unreliable even on routine commutes. Layered on top of these drivability issues was the same ABS module defect that plagued earlier years, reinforcing the fire risk concerns that forced Hyundai to advise owners to avoid parking inside garages until repairs were completed. The dual-clutch transmission remained a central weak point, with early production units showing mechanical vulnerabilities that later revisions would eventually improve, but not before thousands of 2017 owners absorbed the consequences through warranty claims, downtime, and depreciated resale values. For anyone shopping the used market today, 2016 and 2017 Tucsons represent the highest risk purchases in the entire model lineup. And yet, as frustrating as these years were, they don't tell the whole Tucson story. Because while some generations stumbled under the weight of rushed innovation, others quietly delivered dependable service, refined comfort, and the kind of ownership experience that built Hyundai's reputation for value-driven reliability. So now that the danger zones are mapped out, it's time to shift gears. Coming up next are the Tucson years that avoided the pitfalls, learned from early mistakes, and emerged as some of the smartest compact SUV buys still available today. Years to buy. Number 4. 2005 Hyundai Tucson. While most early production vehicles carry first-year risks, the original 2005 Tucson stands out as an exception, largely because it was built before Hyundai began experimenting with complex drivetrains and ambitious electronic systems. This first-generation Tucson arrived as a straightforward, naturally aspirated compact SUV with conventional automatic transmissions and proven mechanical components shared across Hyundai's broader lineup. And that simplicity paid dividends over time. According to combined data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and Car Complaints, the 2005 Tucson recorded fewer than 50 total complaints, an impressively low figure for a vehicle that has now spent nearly 2 decades on the road, and the only notable recall involved an intermittently functioning rear stop lamp, an issue that, while inconvenient during inspections, never threatened the core drivetrain or structural integrity of the vehicle. What makes the 2005 model particularly appealing is how modest its ambitions were. There were no turbochargers waiting to fail, no dual-clutch transmissions learning bad habits, and no overcomplicated driver assistance systems fighting each other behind the scenes, which allowed many of these early Tucsons to quietly accumulate well over 200,000 miles with little more than routine maintenance. They may lack modern infotainment screens and digital dashboards, but for buyers searching for a low-cost, mechanically honest crossover that still performs basic family duties without drama, the 2005 Tucson represents a surprisingly durable starting point. Number 3. 2014 Hyundai Tucson. Fast forward nearly a decade, and Hyundai had begun to find its rhythm. The 2014 Tucson landed during a period when the company focused heavily on interior quality, ride comfort, and incremental engineering improvements rather than headline-grabbing technology, and the result was one of the most balanced compact SUVs Hyundai produced during the second generation. This model year earned above-average reliability scores from Consumer Reports, with owners consistently praising its comfortable ride, intuitive controls, and interior materials that felt more upscale than expected at its price point, while fuel economy reaching approximately 29 miles per gallon on the highway helped cement its reputation as a budget-friendly daily driver. Safety equipment was also well-rounded for the era, including stability control, multiple airbags, and strong crash protection that made it a practical choice for families who wanted peace of mind without stepping into premium brand pricing. More importantly, complaint volumes dropped noticeably compared to surrounding years, and recall activity remained limited primarily to minor electrical or accessory-related fixes rather than drivetrain or fire-related defects. Number 2. 2009 Hyundai Tucson. Sometimes the best versions of any vehicle appear right before a full redesign, and the 2009 Tucson perfectly illustrates that pattern. As one of the final years of the first generation, the 2009 model benefited from years of incremental improvements in manufacturing consistency, electrical system durability, and component fitment, creating a Tucson that feels noticeably more polished than its earlier siblings. These late production Tucsons also introduced subtle styling updates and improved safety equipment, including standard anti-lock brakes and electronic stability control, while maintaining the same proven naturally aspirated engines and conventional transmissions that defined the original platform. Owners regularly report long-term reliability well beyond 200,000 miles, with maintenance costs remaining refreshingly predictable, and for budget-conscious buyers, this year offers exceptional value as one of the most affordable compact SUVs that still delivers dependable family transportation. An optional V6 powertrain provided stronger pulling capability for those who needed extra muscle, and despite its age, the 2009 Tucson remains one of the most mechanically trustworthy examples Hyundai ever produced. It's not flashy, it doesn't pretend to be luxurious, it simply works, and sometimes that's exactly what matters most. Number 1. 2020 Hyundai Tucson. If one Tucson year rises above the rest as the most complete package of reliability, technology, and real-world owner satisfaction, it's 2020. By this point, Hyundai had ironed out the majority of issues that plagued earlier third-generation models, delivering a Tucson that finally aligned modern features with dependable engineering. Quality and reliability scores from J.D. Power reached an impressive 85 out of 100, while surveys conducted through Kelley Blue Book revealed that approximately 70% of owners would recommend the vehicle to prospective buyers, a strong endorsement in a segment crowded with alternatives. User ratings compiled by Cars.com placed the 2020 Tucson at 4.7 out of 5 stars, with over 90% of surveyed drivers expressing satisfaction with their ownership experience. And Consumer Reports echoed those findings with solid reliability and owner satisfaction grades. The 2020 model expanded standard safety features to include lane departure warning and automatic emergency braking, paired with a responsive touchscreen interface that integrated seamlessly with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, while interior refinement improved noticeably, giving the cabin a more upscale feel than previous iterations. Rear seat space and cargo capacity made it particularly appealing for growing families, and overall ride quality struck a comfortable balance between firmness and comfort that suited both commuting and longer road trips. Buyers should still verify that the ABS fire recall repair has been completed, as this campaign affected multiple Tucson years, including 2020. But once that fix is documented, the vehicle stands out as the most refined, dependable, and confidence-inspiring Tucson Hyundai has produced to date. It represents the point where Hyundai's learning curve finally leveled out. So, if reliability is the priority, the 2020 Tucson stands alone as the strongest overall choice. If value matters most, the 2009 and 2014 models offer proven durability at accessible prices. On the other hand, steering clear of 2011, 2012, 2016, and especially 2017 could save thousands in future repairs and countless hours of frustration. Because the smartest used car purchase isn't about finding the lowest sticker price. It's about choosing the year that was built to last. If this breakdown helped clarify your search or saved you from a costly mistake, consider giving the video a like, sharing it with anyone currently shopping for a compact SUV, and subscribing for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.